Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is the major strength the Clippers have that no one is talking about. So that's the topic I want to get into today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, check out Dreamerspro Max. Is an online sports community that we created, a place where you can go and start basketball discussions, chat live during games, and so many other cool things. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to check that out. We have that linked in the description below and get 7 days of access. And also click the join button, which is next to the subscribe button on the channel, to receive loyalty badges to ensure that your comments are responded to when you leave a comment, and especially when we go live. So make sure you go ahead and join the channel. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So all season long, we've been kind of focused on all of the issues that the Clippers have, right? The Clippers are one of the most scrutinized teams in the NBA, and that could be there's some pros and cons to that. The cons is you're always looking at them when they make faults, but the pro is that you expect so much from them, so you're always disappointed when they don't show up. There is a double-edged sword, right? But we rarely focus on the positives, the things that they have going for themselves that, you know, a lot of us should kind of take more notice, take notice of. For example, they have two of the best two-way players in the NBA, in my opinion, in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And I think they have the best two-way player in all of basketball in Kawhi Leonard. That's just my opinion. I think there's nobody better that can shoot like they can shoot at a high level, score about 25 plus points per game, but also play elite on-the-ball defense. That's just my opinion. Now, if we look at Kawhi Leonard's stats this season, he's averaging 26 points per game. He's getting you 6.6 rebounds and 5 assists, right? But he's shooting 51.5% from the field. That's 4 percentage points higher than he shot last season. Kawhi is he's already a very efficient basketball player. Last season, he shot 47%. Now he's shooting 51.5%, so that's extremely impressive. He's shooting 39.5% from the field. You round that up from the three. You round that up, he's basically shooting 40% from the three. 2 percentage points higher than he shot last season. He's shooting 88% from the free throw line, and he's also getting you 1.7 steals per game. So Kawhi Leonard is just elite, like all around. He's an all-around great basketball player. If we look at Paul George, some may say is probably the more talented of the two, right? Some people make that argument, and Paul George is also having a great season. You see how well he's been performing over the last 2 or 3 games. He's averaging 23 points per game. He's getting you 6.3 rebounds and 5.3 assists, but he's shooting 48% from the field. That's about 4 percentage points higher, 3 to 4 percentage points higher than he shot last season. He's shooting 44% from the three, which is even higher than what he shot last year. Last year he shot 41. This year he's shooting 44. He's shooting 89% from the free throw line and getting you 1.2 steals per game. So their two stars are just really, really, having a fantastic season. Then if you look at their coaching, they have one of the best coaches in the NBA. Steve Ballmer and Lawrence Frank feel that they have the best coach in the NBA of all the coaches out there. Obviously, some people will argue Greg Popovich. Even some people will argue Doc Rivers. Some people will argue Rick Carlisle and others. But at least that's what they think. And Tyronn Lue has some championship experience, right? He's won an NBA title as a coach before, and he's been around some of the biggest personalities and egos basketball has ever seen, right? He was a player under Phil Jackson. He played with Shaq and Kobe, two of the biggest personalities you can probably ever in basketball. He also played with Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time. So, and he's also coached LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. So Tyronn Lue has been around the best of the best when we're talking about players, and as far as coach, some of the best players, the best players this game has ever seen. So Tyronn Lue is not just some coach that you just picked up that has no experience, that hasn't, and he's had success, right? He's won championships as a player and as a coach, so he's had some success out there. But for all of these pros that they do have one weakness. If we want to keep this video a little bit balanced, and that number one weakness, in my opinion, is inconsistency, right? Sometimes the Clippers, they'll take 2 steps forward and then 2 steps back, and you be one of those things where you're always frustrated, like, why can't this team just kind of seem to get it together, right? It's something that Clippers fans, especially I, have kind of complained about for a major part of the season. There are times when the team could have done so much better when they did it, but it's still kind of remarkable to think that for all of the inconsistencies that this team has had, they're still the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. It's truly remarkable to think of, just how inconsistent they've been, and somehow They're still playing well overall, right? But there's one strength that the Clippers have that I believe that we don't talk about enough, right? There's one strength that they have, and that strength is their three-point shooting. The Clippers are like shooting at a historic pace right now, and they're by far the best three-point shooting team in the NBA. They're number one in field goal percentage in the NBA as far as three-point shooting. If I look at their three-point shooting as a team, they're shooting 41.8% from the three-point line. That's virtually 42%. Now, I think the team with the best shooting, best three-point shooting percentage in the history of the NBA since I think 1979 was the Charlotte Hornets. I think they shot 42% from the field, right? Then after that, you have the Golden State Warriors, who shot 41.5% from the field. And then you have the 2009-2010 Phoenix Suns. But they're shooting better than that Warriors team. And they're on the tails of that Charlotte Hornets team as far as three-point shooting percentage. So the Clippers are shooting an amazing percentage, right? Think about this, guys. The Clippers have 9 players on their roster, 9 players that are shooting at least 40% from the field. 9 players on their roster that are shooting at least 40% from the field. If I go through their roster and tell you some of the shooting percentages of some of these guys, you're going to be mind blown, right? Nicholas Batum is shooting 41.4% from the three. Patrick Beverley is shooting 41.6% from the three. Amir Kofi is shooting 44.4% from the field, right? I've already given you 3. Paul George is shooting 44% from the three. Reggie Jackson is shooting 43% from the field. That's 5. Luke Kennard is shooting 46.6% from the three. That's 6. Kawhi Leonard is shooting 39.5. We're going to round it up to 40. That's 7. Terrence Mann is shooting 40% from the field. That's 8. And you have Marcus Morris Sr., who is shooting 46% from the three-point line for this. It's astonishing, right? Against the Phoenix Suns, the game that they beat them, the Clippers shot 50% from the three. They made 18 out of 37 three-pointers that they attempted. 18, right? And then the next night, they went out there against the Houston Rockets, and they shot 51% from the three-point line. They made 19 out of 37 three-point attempts. And some people say, listen, is this an anomaly? Guys, it can't be an anomaly. It can't be an anomaly if they've been shooting like this all season long. Obviously, they're not going to shoot 50% from the field for the rest of the season, obviously. But they just did it in 2 back-to-back occasions when they shot over 50% from the three. That's if a team is shooting that well, you're not going to beat that team. Why? Because in order for you to beat that team, you need to be shooting just as good as they are from the three-point line. How many teams can shoot at that percentage? It's one of the reasons you see Skip Bayless on TV constantly belaboring that point. Like, listen, they're the number 1 three-point shooting team in the NBA, and in an NBA where that's dominated by three-point shooting, they're the best. And if you phase out some of their mid-range shots and they just solely focus on threes, they could probably even shoot a better percentage. Obviously, they're not going to do that because then they won't be that dynamic of a team. But for a team to be shooting 42% from the three-point line in today's NBA, that's astonishing. With 9 guys shooting over 40%, that's one of the reasons they won that game last night. It's their depth, but it's also their depth from the three-point line. They missed Paul George. Paul George didn't play in that game. What's his name didn't play. Patrick Beverley didn't play in that game. Rajon Rondo didn't play in that game, but they still had guys that went up there and they still ended up shooting 51% from the field. It means that the Clippers are an extremely dangerous team with this strength that they have. It's not something you can overlook. And I think it's something that can help them if they get to the NBA Finals to kind of keep up with the scoring with the Brooklyn Nets, because the Brooklyn Nets, I think, are the number 2 three-point shooting team in the NBA. No. Actually, no. Yes, they are. The Brooklyn Nets are the number 2 three-point shooting team. They're shooting 39.3%. So the Clippers essentially can score with the Brooklyn Nets, but the Brooklyn Nets are the number 1 field goal shooting team in the NBA, shooting 49.4% from the field as opposed to the Clippers, who are shooting 48.4% from the field. So as far as three-point shooting as a strength, the Clippers, I believe, can score with the Nets. And that's kind of my issue with the Lakers. The Lakers are a very good defensive team, and they have a lot of pieces. My question is, can they score with the Brooklyn Nets? That's going to be the challenge. If your goal is to go out there and kind of defend Brooklyn, I don't know how it's going to happen because they're so good offensively. There's nothing like them. There's never been a 3 a three-headed monster like that team, right? That's why I call them the Avengers. But I think the Clippers can score with them, and I think they probably have the best shot of any team in the Western Conference if they go to the finals to actually go out there and score with the Brooklyn, because you got to score with them, right? Because they're going to score over 120 every single night. It's going to be hard to keep that team close to 100 unless something unforeseen happens. And so for me, that's why I think the Clippers will probably have the best chance to beat them if they got to the NBA Finals. I would give the Brooklyn Nets the edge because that firepower is just so immense. But the Clippers do have that three-point shot that they can rely on, assuming if they continue to hit their three-pointers, which they've been doing for well over 50 games so far this season right now. So for me, I think this is the number one strength that they have, and I think it's something some people should pay more attention to. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about the Clippers three-point shooting? Do you think it's something that they're going to be able to sustain all the way to the end of the regular season? Do you think they're going to break the record? And number three, do you think they can continue shooting like this in the playoffs? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, it's just Charles here from Dreamers Pro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. And don't forget to check out our Dreamerspro Max and the join button. Catch you guys on the next episode.